Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am here with the first update for my Pan face palette. So this is the second year that I'm doing my Pan face palette. I did last year too, and I panned the Ambient Edit Ghost palette from Hourglass. So that was like a palette with loads of different type of products in it. They had like, you know, bronzer, highlighter, 2 blushes and 2 finishing powders, so quite a wide spread of products. This year, however, I am switching it up and I'm panning this palette right here, which is the MAC Flashing Eyes Extra Dimension Skin Finish Trio in Light. And this is just a highlighting palette. So that is where I'm focusing my efforts this year, and I'm going to talk you through how many times I used each shade in this palette. But before jumping into that, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. Let's jump into the video. So of course, before I show you the palette, I will show you what it looked like last month at the introduction. Of course, the footage that I have is not very long because it's only been 1 month. But what you're looking at right now is what this palette looked like at the introduction. And you can see this palette has 3 shades. And this is what it looks like today. I haven't looked back at the footage yet, so I don't know how much difference you can see. But I definitely can see, like, I'm hoping you can see a difference in 2 shades. But of course, you will get more of an understanding as soon as I talk you through the usage of these 3 shades. Alright, so we'll also have the comparison pictures up here of the palette, but this is what it looks like now. So a little overview again right here. But let me talk you through it. So again, there's 3 shades in the palette, and the first shade is that white shade, which is called Glitz Out. This is a shade that I haven't used too much because it is very, very light. It is quite like icy on my skin tone. You might be able to see it there. It's just very light, so I can use it, but I have to be quite careful with it. And my plan with this one is to mix it with the middle shade. However, currently I'm actually mixing that with a different shade, which I'm panning in my product pan, my yellow product pan. So this specific shade I haven't reached for too many times. I reached for it mainly as an unicorn highlight, and I've done so 4 times. So quite a low amount of usage, but I'm fine with that. Again, we're only 1 month into the year. Then the next shade is the middle shade, which has been my main focus for the past month. This is the shade There She Glows, which is the largest pan in the palette, and it's this kind of like bronzier shade. As you can see, it is a little bit deep for my skin tone, but it has been working really nice to mix with other things. So again, like I said, I am mixing this one with a shade in my yellow product pan, which is the shades from the Sleek palette. It's like a purple tone highlighter, and that one is very icy and also obviously quite purple. So this slightly deeper and, you know, more bronzy shade tones that one down quite a lot. So it's been working really nicely together, and I've reached for this specific shade 18 times in the past month. So again, quite a decent amount, and I'm really happy with that. Of course, I have to split my use between all 3 of these, so 18 I think is, you know, a good amount, because getting like 30 uses on one of these would probably mean that I don't reach for the other 2 at all. So 18 I am very, very happy with, and I do think I can see a little bit of like flattening out on the pattern there in the center. Then we have the final shade in the palette, which is the shade Out on the Tinseltown, which is like almost like a duochrome highlighter. It has a little bit more of a pink shift to it, but it's also like more of a gold. So if you look right there now, the pink kind of disappears and then it shows up again. And this is another one that I've been focusing a little bit on. You might be able to see that the pattern is worn down. It looked similar to this at the last update, so you can see that it definitely worn down, which I'm really happy to see. It means that the progress is showing and that the highlighters are moving. So this one specifically I have reached for 9 times, so again a decent amount. It's actually the highlighter that I'm wearing on my cheeks today, but it's a beautiful highlighter. This is the one that I go for if I don't want to think about it too much, because this one works really nicely for my skin tone on its own, where again this one I have to mix right now. I think in summer I'm going to absolutely love this one, and I'm excited to reach for this one then. But for now, this has been my go-to highlighter in the palette if I just, again, don't want to mix anything, and that's why I have 9 uses on it. But like I said, my most used one is still that one in the center. So those are the 3 shades. Again, we are quite quick with the usage because again there's only 3 to talk about, but let's move on to the weight of this palette. So the weight, look, the advertised weight in this palette is 9 grams, which is quite a lot. I'm a little bit stressed about finishing this whole palette, but if I don't, that's absolutely fine. But yeah, it has 9 grams of weight. And looking at that 9 gram average, that means I have to finish up 0.75 grams a month in order to finish this palette, which is quite a high amount. So again, we'll see how far I get with it. But in the past month, I've been able to do, you know, an okay amount of usage. It's not as much as I was hoping, but I'm still happy with the movement. And at the introduction, this palette weighed 99.90 grams. So that is my starting point. And in the past month, well, right now, the palette now weighs 99.72 grams, which means that I have finished up 0.18 grams of the palette. So very much lower than that 75 or 0.75 grams that I have to reach for if I want to be on track. But again, I'm happy with it. It's been a month of kind of just getting to know this palette and playing with it. So again, really happy with those numbers and where this palette is sitting today. So it's quite hard for me to set goals for this palette because I don't think I'm close to pan on anything. So I think I'm going to continue using it how I have been. I'm going to continue focusing on these 2 shades. I want to continue focusing on the center shade with that shade in my stick palette. And once that shade is done, I think I'm going to start mixing it with this lighter shade. But that white shade is probably the one that I'm going to neglect the most, I feel like, this year, because again, it is a little bit too light for me. But again, these 2 are probably going to continue being my focuses for next month, and I just want to wear away as much of the pattern as I can on those 2 shades. But there you guys, it's going to be my short and sweet update for my Panda face palette. I was thinking about this purchase, but palette face palette. I'm excited to continue working on this palette, of course. Again, I don't know if it's going to be as successful as last year, but either way, I'm just really excited. And this has been such a beautiful palette to reach for because the shades are just very beautiful. The formula is very beautiful. It looks very nice on the skin, so it's been super easy to incorporate into my everyday routine. But I'm gonna wrap up the video here, like I said, and I hope you guys are having an amazing day wherever you are, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye guys.